What was your relationship with your siblings? Was there always love or sometimes also jealousy and anger? Parashat Vayechi is the final parsha in the book of Genesis. Our ancestors' stories reveal the great complexity that exists in family relationships. This is how it is portrayed in Midrash Psikta de Rav Kahana. And I quote, "If only you were to me like a brother, who was nursed at my mother's breasts." And the Midrash asks, like what brother? As Cain to Abel, Cain killed Abel. As Ishmael to Yitzchak, Ishmael hated Isaac. As Esau to Jacob, Esau hated Jacob. As Joseph's brothers to Joseph, Joseph's brothers hated Joseph. The Midrash opens with a verse from the Song of Songs. "If only you were to me like a brother," and asks, like what brother? The Midrash points to the unpleasant reality. In almost all the families described in the book of Genesis, tension existed between the brothers. Isaac and Ishmael, Yaakov and Esav, Joseph and his brothers. Intense jealousy led to hatred, and even, in the case of Cain and Abel, to murder. If so, what does the verse mean by saying, "If only you were to me like a brother"? Before we answer the question presented at the end of the Midrash, we will turn to our parasha. Parashat Vayechi tells us about another incident in the stormy relationship between Joseph and his brothers. As you remember, Jacob and all his sons, 70 members, went down to Egypt to live there during the difficult years of the famine. And now, Jacob is dead, and Joseph's brothers are afraid. When Joseph's brothers saw that their father was dead, I quote, they said, "Perhaps Joseph will hate us and may actually repay us for all the evil which we did to him." End quote. They cry, fall on their faces, and even offer themselves as slaves. We too ask ourselves, how will Joseph behave now after his father's death? Will he take advantage of his position and power as a ruler and take revenge on his brothers for their behavior? However, Joseph does not look down on his brothers and forgives them wholeheartedly. The Midrash ends, "If only you were to me like a brother." As Joseph's brothers to Joseph? Of course not. Joseph's brothers hated Joseph, but as Joseph to his brothers. You find that after all the bad things they did to him, says the Midrash, it is written, "Now therefore do not fear. I will support you and your little children." And he comforted them and spoke kindly to them. Joseph does not take revenge. He weeps and comforts his brothers. He repays them good for bad. And even after his father's death, he continues to provide for his brothers and to take care of all their needs. This is the Midrash's answer to the phenomenon of hatred and jealousy between siblings that happens again and again throughout the book of Genesis. Joseph teaches us that it is possible to break the cycle of hatred, to forgive one another wholeheartedly, and to restore one's family. We too can learn from Joseph's behavior to stop the cycle of hatred between brothers and to increase the love among us. Shavua Tov from Schechter.